Random House Audio presents How to Start a Conversation and Make Friends. This is the author, Don Gabor. The next time you walk into a room full of people, just listen to them talking. They're all communicating through conversation. Conversation is our main way of expressing our ideas, opinions, goals, and feelings to the people we meet for the first time and to our friends, coworkers, and family. Our ability to converse one-on-one is also the primary means of beginning and establishing friendships and relationships. Meeting new people and making new friends is what today's success is all about. Lively conversation is what makes us interesting, and since we spend so much of our time living, working, and playing with others, why be bored or boring when you don't have to be either? Whether we meet people at parties, at work, or on social networking sites like Facebook or LinkedIn, we can connect and communicate with those people when the channel of conversation is open. However, if the channel is closed, then starting and sustaining a conversation and creating a relationship of any kind is tough. The good news is, it's a lot easier than you might think to make meaningful connections, and that's what this audiobook is all about. Now, let me tell you what I'll cover in this 4-part program over the next 70 or so minutes. In Part 1, I'll tell you how to start your conversations with confidence. I'll explain how to use body language to build instant rapport and natural ways to break the ice, plus an easy 5-second method for remembering names that really works. In Part 2, I'll explain how easy it is to know what to say next and keep the conversation going. Change topics, tell others who you are, handle a few common awkward conversations, and how to close your conversation and leave a great impression. In Part 3, I'll focus on establishing online relationships. In this part, you'll learn how to start online relationships the right way, meet people, make friends online, and then turn your online contacts into face-to-face relationships. Finally, in Part 4, I'll tell you ways to boost your conversations to the next level. In this section, you'll hear tips on networking, making new friends, rekindling old friendships, and tips for making conversation and a great impression on first dates. So, now if you're ready, let's get started with Part 1, starting conversations with confidence. Body language. The first challenge facing most people when they walk into a room full of strangers is having the confidence to break the ice and get the conversation going. Just thinking about those first few seconds of contact makes some people so nervous that they wait until someone else makes the first move, or they even avoid going to a social or business function altogether. However, there is an easy way to show others you are friendly, open, and willing to make contact. And it starts before you've said even one word with your body language or the nonverbal signals you send out. Research has shown that nearly 3/4 of our face-to-face communication is based on body language, and that we quickly judge one another in the first few seconds of contact based on these nonverbal cues. If your body language is closed, it makes you appear uncomfortable, awkward, or even unapproachable. On the other hand, when your body language is open, you'll look confident, friendly, and even will attract others to you. Plus, open body language makes it easier to break the ice and maintain an interesting and fun conversation. In his insightful book on shyness, Arthur Wasmer coined the term soften as a way to remember 6 body language softeners. A softener is a nonverbal gesture that will make people more responsive and receptive to you. Since your body language speaks before you do, it's important to project a receptive image. When you use open body language, you are already sending the signal, I'm friendly and willing to communicate if you are. Each letter in the word SOFTEN represents a specific nonverbal technique that makes others comfortable and encourages them to talk with you. The letter S in the word soften stands for smile. A pleasant smile is a strong indication of a friendly and open attitude and a willingness to communicate. It is a receptive and nonverbal signal sent with the hope that the other person will smile back. A smile is the easiest way to show someone that you've noticed him or her in a positive way. The result? The other person will usually smile back, because when you send out friendly nonverbal messages, you're more likely to get friendly nonverbal messages back. Smiling doesn't mean that you have to put on a phony face or pretend that you're happy all the time. But when you see someone you know or would like to make contact with, smile. When you couple a warm smile with a friendly hello, you'll be pleasantly surprised by similar responses. A smile indicates general approval towards the other person, and this will usually make him or her feel more open to talk to you. The letter O in the word soften stands for open arms. In my conversation workshops, to demonstrate the impact of closed arms, I stand with my arms folded across my chest, and I ask the attendees to use a word or two to describe my body language. They say words like defensive, guarded, aloof, unfriendly, and the list of negative words goes on and on. Rarely does anyone describe my body language with my arms crossed in positive terms. Standing or sitting with your arms crossed makes you appear closed to contact, defensive, even unfriendly or disinterested. It sends the nonverbal message, stay away, I'm thinking and I don't want to be disturbed. Now just ask yourself this question. Are you going to interrupt someone who appears to be deep in thought? Probably not. In addition, crossing your arms during a conversation tends to make you appear nervous, judgmental, or skeptical, and says, my mind is made up. Of course, all these negative messages discourage people from approaching you or feeling comfortable while talking to you. On the other hand, if a person's arms are unfolded, then his or her nonverbal message is much more open and receptive. During a conversation, open arms makes others feel that you are interested, comfortable, and listening. Some people argue that just because they have their arms crossed doesn't mean that they are closed to conversation. They say, I cross my arms because I'm comfortable. These folks may feel comfortable, but the nonverbal message they send is, you'll have better luck and more fun talking to someone else. The letter F in the word soften means forward lean. Imagine you and another person are seated across the table from one another. You are both leaning slightly forward as you chat. What body language signals are you and your conversational partner sending one another? If you said concentration, curiosity, and that you're listening to each other, you're right. Leaning forward slightly while a person speaks to you indicates you are interested and listening to what he or she has to say. Most people take this as a compliment that encourages them to continue talking. By contrast, leaning back with your hands folded behind your head sends nonverbal signals that suggest you may be bored, distracted, or skeptical. Since most people do not feel comfortable when they think they are being judged or that they are boring, leaning back tends to inhibit conversation. That's why it's far better to lean forward slightly in a casual and natural way when you talk to others. By doing this, your nonverbal message is, I hear what you're saying and I'm interested, keep talking. The letter T in soften stands for touch. In Western culture, the most acceptable form of first physical contact between two people who are just meeting is a warm handshake. This is usually true when meeting members of the same or opposite sex. In most social and business situations, a warm and firm handshake is a safe way of showing an open, friendly, and respectful attitude toward the people you meet. Be the first to extend your hand in greeting. Couple this handshake with a friendly, hello, it's nice to meet you, a sincere smile, and your name, and you've made the first step to open the channels of communication between you and the other person. Some men may not feel comfortable offering to shake hands with a woman. They say they would feel stupid if the woman didn't shake their hand. However, etiquette expert Emily Post states in the revised edition of her book on social graces that today it's perfectly acceptable for a man or woman to offer a handshake, and that in most cases it would be rude for either man or woman to ignore or refuse this friendly gesture. However, Because of cultural and age differences, some women might feel that they are being too forward if they offer to shake hands.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?